Have to try to put that over there. Hi, you guys. I'm so sorry I was late. My apologies. See, I feel like everybody like left. They was waiting for me and it was like, Chanel, you're taking too long. I understand. I understand. Can you guys hear me? Oh my God, lip gloss. I forgot lip gloss. See, I knew I had forgot something. Oh, forgive me. Hold on. I feel like I haven't been live in forever. Let me see. Oh my God. That's a big exit. That's a big exit. Sorry. I'm gonna wait for more people. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'm starting a new hairstyle. Yes, I want more people to come join, please, so we can get started. I know I'm the one that's running late, but yeah. You guys wait, hold on 1 second. Whew. It's just something about not having lip gloss that just does not sit right with me at all. So okay, let's just get started because it's time. Oh, that's what it is. Hold on 1 more second. 1 more second. I was like, why is it so ugly in here? Let's use this. We gotta turn this light up and then we're gonna have to this real quick. And then yeah. So let's see. Much better. Much better. Cause that was not giving. All right, I have a big zit right here. Okay, you guys. So no, I can't be without my lip gloss. I literally cannot. So okay, you guys. This live, I have a ton of notes. Like I have so many notes. So hold on. This is all my notes for this live because I'm like, yeah, we have a lot to talk about. So this live will be on, and then can you guys put a stamp on when the live actually started? Because again, my bad. Sorry, you guys. I apologize for being so late. I missed you guys so much. A lot has been going on, but then nothing has been going on at the same time. So yeah. So if you guys, I'll be on Patreon. So if people looking for me, verify me on Patreon. What type of men do you attract and how to get them to spend money? So we already know that, and that's a damn shame. 9 minutes in, that's a damn motherfucking shame. Um, Gullible Gabe and Sympathetic Steve. I think we kind of already know how to deal with them. Sorry, it's a little fly. So I'm gonna focus on Egotistical Evan and Horny Harold for this whole live. I know I said I was going to talk about Gullible Gabe's and Sympathetic Steve's, but let me know if that's okay with you. I think I just want to focus on those two because first off, I feel like I breeze over Egotistical Evan so much. I also feel like Horny Harold, although they are pretty easy to finesse, they are women typically run into them. So I feel like this is something where someone can click on the live and be like, okay, I get it, because I'm consistently running into these type of men that when Chanel does this live, that you'll kind of understand. And I have like this zit right here, and it's about to piss me off, so I'm trying not to look at it. So if I start looking sideways, it's because I'm trying not to look at the zit. And they can be a combo. We will be talking about the hybrids. We will go ahead and talk about them too. Okay, we're gonna talk about both of them. But mostly this will focus on Egotistical Evan, Horny Harold, and then maybe at the end, towards the end, I'll talk about the other one. So get y'all pen and paper out. I'm about to spill some tea. We're gonna talk about it. So give me a second, I gotta drink some water. Whew. Okay, let me undo this. All right. So I'm going to kind of ask the ladies to go ahead and comment. What type of men do you run into in those 4 categories? Typically, which type do you run into the majority of the time? Don't all write at once. And you could so you don't have to type out Egotistical Evan. You can put EE, HH, GG. You guys don't have to spell it out. So I can kind of know which one I'm going to start with. But I think I'm going to start with Egotistical Evan. Okay. Hold on, y'all. This waist trainer. It don't want to waste, and it don't want to train. Cool. It's not letting me. Okay, yeah, we about to pin this. We about to pin this real quick. Did I pin it? Can you guys see what I pinned? Okay, yeah, I pinned it. Okay. Okay, so I seen a post the other day, and it was by @TashaJMack. Just so no one thinks I'm stealing her idea, this is who I got it from. I seen her post, and it just resonated with me so much. I'm gonna put her in there. That's her Twitter I don't have Twitter. Again, I seen this post on. I seen this tweet on Pinterest, so I think I put her name right. Okay, so she said, the biggest thing my therapist could have coached me on so far is learning what category to fit people in my life. You have your close circle who you can confide in, and then you have your outside circle who you can hang with, but don't expect anything deep. And then you have the third one, which is a transactional friendship, which strictly means work, coworkers, favors, etc. Right? So first, close friends, you can combine in. 2, outside circle, hang with them, but nothing deep. This is like y'all party friends, blah, blah, blah. Transactional relationships, work friends, somebody hit you up for a favor every now and then. So when I thought about that, I thought about how I categorize men so that it makes it easier for, I guess, like all of us to understand what type of men we're dealing with, right? So for the close friends, the relationships that are built and somebody that you can confide in, that would be a GG and an SS. So a gullible Gabe is someone you can confide in. That's a close friend, a close relationship. Sympathetic Steve, that's someone, of course, you can confide in, right? So, with the gullible Gabe, they don't always spend money. I'm sorry, not that they don't always spend money. What was I going to say? Oh, the gullible Gabe, just because they're gullible does not mean they're sympathetic. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Just because they're gullible does not mean they're sympathetic. And I'll get to that. Well, I should probably get to that now before I forget. Story time. Have a gullible Gabe. Told him a sob story. He don't give a fuck. Although he fell for it, it's more so like, even though I considered him like someone that I can confide in, I kind of learned like, okay, even though I can confide in him, it's not about anything that's necessarily sympathetic. He doesn't feel for that. He's more so he wants to see the party Chanel. He wants to see the Chanel that's having fun. He wants to see the Chanel that's doing things. And give me 1 second. I wish, you know what? I need to learn how to use this so that I can go ahead and show you guys different things. Video clips and stuff, but give me a second. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Okay, so an example of that is, if some of you guys know like Corinne Steffens, she made a tell-all book about being a video vixen. Anyway, she had an interview with Tyra Banks. And in the interview, she talked about how when she was partying and living her best life, all the ballers, all the producers, the directors, the rappers, they all would spend money on her. They would give her money, right? And they didn't have no problem. Shaquille O'Neal bought her a condo. She was getting cars, etc. But when, she was down on her luck, she was doing drugs, out bad, and she reached out to them because she thought that they were her friends that she can confide in. And they was looking at her like, hey, hit me up when you get back on your feet. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up when you back up. Hit me up when you're ready to go party. Because, not saying that she went about it wrong, but as I've taught you guys, that if you know what type of man you're dealing with and you're bringing them all these problems and they're not sympathetic to your situation because you have not built that type of relationship, then I feel like Tasha Mack, is that her name? Yeah, her post, I feel like, pay attention, because there are people that you can confide in. There are people that care about your situation, and there are people that are just here for a good time. And even though they're here for a good time, does not mean that they won't be here for a long time. They just want you to only hit them up when things are going good. Okay, they don't want you to bring any drama. And the Corinne Steffens was a perfect example, because she was like, as soon as she was asking the money for her rent and things that she really needed, nobody gave her money. So that's just a really cool example. Not cool example. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. But that's just a really good example of what I always say. Like, keep it fun, keep it sweet, especially when you guys don't know what type of man you're dealing with. So acquaintance, that'll be the group 2 that she said in the Twitter post. I said like a few dinners, some phone calls, here and there. Again, you don't consider the relationship as built, but they're tricks and you don't expect nothing deep from them. Again, that's your outside acquaintances, nothing much, but you can ask them for stuff. You can ask the gullible Gabes, you can ask the sympathetic Steves, you can ask the Horny Heralds, whatever, Egotistical Evans. You can ask them for anything if they're in the group 2, which means that although you can't confide in them when you're having problems, you can still ask them for things, right? Now, 3, the strictly business is, and you ladies probably have ran into these type of guys. They're not sponsors. They're not tricks. They're not long-term relationships. This is a guy that maybe once in a while has sent you money and then didn't send you money no more. And a pretty good example is if a guy like sends you $150 for like your nails or something, and then you message me and you're like, Chanel, I can't get anything out of him. He sent me $150 2 months ago and he hasn't sent me anything else. That's it. That's it. He's not in group 1. He's not in group 2. He's not somebody you can confine with. He's not even somebody that you go out with to have fun. This was a transaction, and that's it, nothing more. So that's that. So moving on, just so I hope that helped. Let me read this. You guys didn't ask me any questions, but so I hope that helped kind of figuring out how to place the egotist, the EEs, the SS, the GGs, the HH, right? So then let's just move on to egotistical Evan, our favorite guy. He's an asshole, but we love him. He love him because most of the time, and actually when I was mentoring, one of my mentees, we were on the phone, and she was like, you know what, the whales, they're always egotistical and they're always horny. The whales, like, the real big money. And then she was saying that the sympathetic Steve and the gullible Gabes, the majority of the time, she said that although they're not broke, they don't have as much money as the whales. So when they give, they're probably giving their everything, which I don't mind, and I don't care really. Like whatever. If you're gonna give, you're gonna give. I'm not putting a gun to your head, but yeah, they do tend to have less. I could see that. And again, there could be hybrids, so there could be mixtures of them all. Let's never forget. We're gonna get into that later on. So with the egotistical Evan, to kind of figure them out or figure figure out if he's an EE. Does he brag a lot? Does he have narcissistic traits? Is he self-obsessed? Is he self-seeking? And most of the time, not most of the time, some of the time ladies think, oh, because he's egotistical, that means that he's selfish. That's not always the case, because one thing that an egotistical Evan can be is a narcissist. So what do narcissists do? They love bomb. And in this love bombing process comes gifts and money, gifts. They only know how to love bomb that way, by giving. Another example, I hate to use all these videos that I found on YouTube, but there is I'll link the post down here or on Patreon. I don't think I could link somebody's YouTube or my Patreon. Never mind. I'll just tell y'all quick little story time about this girl YouTube video that I watched where she was dating a narcissist scammer, con artist. And at first he was giving her things, right? He was giving her phones. He brought her bags or whatever. He was doing all this to prove like, hey, I'm this guy. And in the end, he wasn't shit. But this is what I say, because y'all think that egotistical Evans don't spend money when they do. In this love bombing process, right? When they're buying gifts and they want to prove to you like, I'm the man you want, all this, all that, right? In this love bombing process, you get what you want, leave, run. It's all a scam. I promise you. Everything is a scam. So once you get the big gifts, leave, because either they're going to flip it on you because they could be a con artist, or they're going to get into this relationship where they think that they control you because of what they bought you. So end it peacefully. Don't get deep into it. Yeah, they're full of BS and they're pandering. I think I put that in my notes, so you can indulge a little bit, but watch your back. All right. So yes, Essence, can you put the video in here or the name of the YouTuber? I think everybody should watch that video, because yes, he was love bombing at first and he didn't ask her for nothing, and he was giving, and then he ended up being a fucking narcissist. And a con artist. But again, everybody has a little narcissism in them. Everybody has a little selfishness in them. So as soon as I see an egotistical Evan, I don't immediately run, because I feel like I know how to deal with them and I attract them. Figuring out why you attract them is kind of like self-work. It's kind of like you have to reflect on things. But I think that I attract egotistical Evans because they want somebody that they feel like looks good, or they want somebody that they feel like they can be around and be arm candy. So, but I think that, and this is some tea, I think that every egotistical Evan that I've dated, I think they thought they looked better than me, or they felt they looked better than me. So that's that. yeah. I feel like they thought they were the better looking of the two, but whatever. Um, that leads me to my next thing. Okay, wait, yeah, that leads me to the next thing that I was gonna say is egotistical Evans. They will criticize you. So everything you do, you get criticized. Tell me if you guys ran into the EEs that you're at dinner and they're trying to tell you how to drink your wine, how to use your fork, um, and they're doing it in a way as if they're trying to belittle you. I have a few examples, and I've said these examples before, but I kind of want to go over them. But they tell you, I'm gonna tell you guys some examples, but they tell you like, oh, you know, you should that I don't really like short hair. Like I thought your hair was longer. You look better with longer hair. You know, they're bold. They'll say it. They're not afraid. If you come to the date and you don't look like your pictures, oh, you look a little bit heavier than your pictures. Now you can just say like, oh yeah, he's blunt, right? You could just say like, wait a minute, that guy is just being blunt. You know, how are you gonna say that he's egotistical, Chanel? Well, check this out. If you look at this guy and you know that something is off about him, like say he doesn't look like his pictures or he's not the height that he said he was, you didn't immediately point that out like, hey, you're not the height that you said you was. You said you were 5'10", and when I go on the date, you're 5'3". But you didn't point that out. But he felt the need because he feels like he can. First off, he feels like he can. He feels like he has more power than you. He feels like he looks better than you. He feels like he's more confident than you. So he feels like he can say those things to you, although he doesn't really know you. And that's another thing too. Like, although they're blunt and it comes off rude, they're really not as confident as they portray. They a lot of narcissists have low self-esteem. So people can fake it, fake it, fake it. But I love an egotistical Evan because deep down inside, I know you're insecure. Every single time I found out that they're insecure. So that always works in my favor because it's like, yeah, you know what to do to trigger me, but I know what to do to trigger you too. I know your not kryptonite, but your insecurities. I figured out your insecurities just like you pointed out mine. But here's the thing about your insecurities. I'm not going to point out your insecurities. I'm going to use your insecurities so that I can get the bag, so I can get the money out. Let me read these comments. Um, yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, uh, Ty Nashay, you said EEs also over exaggerate their life so much. Yes, they do. And I was just talking to Anna Blair. She's one of my mentees. I was just talking to her about how they will be like, hey babe, I was in a meeting. It was all day. I was in a 6-hour meeting. It was all day. Okay, was it a 6-hour meeting or was it all day? Which one was it? Like you're exaggerating. Or oh babe, I missed my flight, so I had to pay $2,000 to get another flight to leave out to New York. But like you can look up how much it is to buy a flight right now at the airport. And it's not $2,000 to fly to New York. It never has been. So that they lie. Not only do they lie, but it's more so an exaggeration. Um, but yes, that was in my notes too. Thanks for pointing that out. They do exaggerate. Um, they're unable to handle the idea that you could possibly be right or anybody else could be right besides them. And this is some notes that I was on his ego Thursday. Okay. And what helps feed their ego or what helps make them feel better about themselves is making you watching this video feel bad about yourself or feel like you're not good enough. Like if they feel like they're hurting your feelings, that actually excites them because they're breaking you down. So I'm going to give you guys examples and I'm going to show you how to get the bag out of EEs. Okay. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm screaming. That made me scream. That made me scream. Very manipulative. Okay, so Angel, thank you for asking that because I am about to show you. Example. So, real true story. I was wearing some Tory Burch slides and an EE, the biggest fucking EE in the world, told me, this was his exact words, I don't like those. You need to wear Hermes. Those Tory Burch are cheap and they make you look cheap. This is his words. Okay. So instead of getting offended and defensive and upset because Tory Burch is the shit, keep in mind. So this dude was like ghetto money. Like he never really touched money like that. So he thought, you know, Hermes, like I'm not saying that Hermes design isn't, I'm not saying that it's not high-end luxury brands or whatever, but to me it doesn't have to be all about labels. Like you don't have to see the big H right there for me. Like I like Tory Burch, I like Rebecca Minkoff, I like Coach, I like those things. Okay, so anyway, yeah, he was saying something about my Tory Burch sandals, and then I said, wow, you're absolutely right. Can you take me to Hermes and pick out a pair you consider more classy? Like that's usually my response because you have to humble yourself. You have to downplay yourself around them. You can't get offensive. You can't get defensive. I would rather you play sad than play mad, or not play mad, actually be mad. So do you think that he took me to Hermes to go get me some Hermes sandals? No, because I don't have any. But he did take me to Gucci and he got me some Gucci sandals, which was an upgrade from the Tory Burch, but I still like my Tory Burch sandals better than the fucking Gucci sandals that he got me that feel like I'm walking on fucking glass. That feels like I'm walking on fucking glass. Nevertheless, the Gucci sandals is like $550 and I think the Hermes is like $700. So it really wasn't a big difference. But nevertheless, I did go ahead and have him take me to Gucci so he could show me a better life. Show me what classy looks like. I have no class. I have nothing. I have nothing. I'm here for you to mold me and teach me how it is to be around a man of your stature. So another thing. So I went on a date with this guy who was confirmed a multimillionaire. Not went on a date. We went on several dates. We were dating. And what happened? Oh, I met him off the league. I talked about him before, you guys. So if you're new here, there's some old videos that I talked about meeting him on the league. And if y'all remember, then y'all remember he was like a tech. He sold his company for like $1 million, no, like $1 billion, something like that. He was into tech. It's too much. Anyway, on our first date, or was our first date or second date, whatever date it was, he brought me a Rebecca Minkoff perfume. And to this day, that is my favorite perfume. And because let me think. I'm trying to break this down so it's simpler. Anya could probably explain this better than me. That when people really have money, they don't have to spend $700, $400 on some perfume. What he thought was classy to him was the Rebecca Minkoff, and literally it's my favorite perfume, and it's like $100 at like Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom or whatever. Like, but it's my favorite. Nevertheless, Egotistical Evan, he come in, right? This is not the dude from the league. This is Egotistical Evan. He come up in there and he like, who's Rebecca Minkoff? Like, why are you wearing this? Because we're out somewhere and I have my perfume, right? Like, my assistant is at his house and I have like my stuff, right? Because we're going to like, well, he's having like a little get together or whatever, right? So he sees my Rebecca Minkoff perfume and he grabs it like this. He's like, what is this? What is this? He's like, which is this? And I'm like, Rebecca Minkoff, it's perfume. And he's like, this is cheap. He's like, this is really cheap Chanel. Oh my God, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I cannot make this up. So he's like, this is really cheap. And I'm like, oh my God, is it really cheap? Like, yes, it is always the new money that like to talk shit, but I don't care. On the inside, I was screaming. I was screaming because I knew I was about to get this motherfucker to buy me some new perfume. I said, so this is my response. I wrote down a note. I don't know if this is exactly what I said, but I was like, oh my God, really? What's the best perfume? Like, I feel so out of the loop. Thank God I have you to teach me things. I said, let me get a little wish list together. I'm going to get my Amazon wish list together. I'm going to put some perfumes on there, and I want you to go through it. And I want you to tell me what's good perfume and what's bad perfume, because I don't want to be out here smelling cheap. And then I even like sent him like a little sad face, and I was like, me thinking I'm cute, but actually me smelling cheap. So I sent like these little gifs. Funny as fuck, I swear to God, y'all. So he's like, Chanel, I'm going to get you together. Like, he's like, I promise no. And then he's like, throw that away. He's like, throw that shit away. Throw it away. I don't want to see it no more. So I pretended like I threw it away. That's my favorite perfume. It's not getting thrown away. So after that, he did end up buying me Versace Bright Crystal. I already had it. And what's the other Versace one that he ended up buying me? And then he ended up buying me Gucci Bloom. And then he ended up buying my sister a Versace perfume for her birthday. Wait. No, but for real. So he's like, yeah. Finessing him was so fucking easy. It was easy because all I had to pretend like was that I didn't know shit. I had to pretend like I never had shit. That was him. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. Big ass EE. So this is another example. I was going to Cabo, right? So I'm like, I really want to go to Cabo. Like, me and my friends are planning a trip, blah, 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 right? And he goes and he's like, this is what he says. He says, I've been to so many countries, Chanel. Bahamas is not considered traveling. Cabo is not considered traveling. Cancun is not considered traveling. There's so many better places. He like Dubai, Fiji, Norway, Greece. He's like, you need to expand your horizon. He's like, how many steps do you have? Do all of them say Mexico, Mexico, Mexico? Is that all you go? Y'all, I'm so sorry, but he was like, is that the only place you go? So I was like, let me look up flights to Cabo. This was before I went to my Cabo trip. And I'm like, I was like, the flights to Cabo actually aren't cheap, babe. They're like $488, and then for first class, it's like almost $700. So he writes me, he's like, that's cheap in cap locks. He's like, that is cheap. I'm trying not to laugh, y'all, but he's like, that is cheap, right? So I go ahead and I start looking up the flights to Greece and Dubai, and of course they're like in the thousands, especially for first class. So I decided, like, if I wanted to, you could play this two ways, right? You could play this as, I'm going to be honest, it's a turn on to me that you think that all these things that I think is expensive is cheap. So I was going to buy one for me, but now that you think that it's cheap, I might as well buy one for my sister too. Or I might as well buy one for my best friend too. And I was like, it's $700. Is that too much for you? And I said it like this because I'm like, you said that it's cheap, right? And I want 2 tickets and I'm not even riding first class, right? So I'm letting you know it's $700 because I want it for me and my sister. So what? That's like, or maybe $800. That's like 400, 800, right? Is that too much for you? Because you're telling me it's cheap. So are you going to send me the money or not? That's what I need to know. And of course he sent the money. Of course he sent the money because I ended the 6, and you got to use keywords too. We're going to get into that. But I ended it with, is that too much for you? Or is that okay with you? Like, you got to ask them because now you got to play with their ego and stroke their ego at the same time. You said it was cheap. Send me the $700. Is that too much for you? Because you literally, your words, not mine, said that it was cheap. So you don't mind buying 2. You don't mind buying 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Or you can play it this way. Oh my God, you're right. Compared to Dubai, which the ticket is blank, we could say $6,000, $7,000. Cabo is dirt cheap. So which one should we go to then? I would prefer a destination where you consider lavish. I want to have, or where you consider more lavish so that we can have an experience that both of us can enjoy. That's just something that you can text and you can throw it out there because again, they like to downplay everything that you do. So you got to come with the rebuttals. You got to. Hold on one second. Y'all, I got carried away with that, but but that shit was so funny. This one. Okay, so we can, let me see. I don't want to skip over something. So Eagle Man said, yeah. All right, cool. We're gonna move on to the next thing, which is Egotistical, Evans. They like competition because the thing about them liking competition is they already feel like they're in first place. So with competition, like if you already feel like, okay, I already know I'm about to win this. I already know I won. Like I'm the winner. Okay, the race is already done. So when someone comes in and they're quote unquote competition, and you know that you can, well, they know that they can outshine them, they can beat them at their own game, whatever. They love it. So an example would be, and this has been used before. Say that he was going to do something for you, right? No, for real. So say that he was going to book a flight for you. Anya, I'm going to use your example. Say he said he was going to book a flight for you, right? And he hasn't booked the flight yet. He hasn't sent the money for it yet. So then you let him know. So how would you ladies let him know that there was another guy in the picture? Girl, y'all can comment, like, say if someone's saying that we're going to do something for you, whether it's a bag, a flight, whatever, and they never did it. Like, how would y'all introduce that there's another person in the picture, but do it in a finesse way? And I'll give y'all a second to answer. If y'all don't, then I'll just go ahead and give my answer. Okay, I'll go ahead and give my answer. So if he's telling you he's going to buy you a flight, or he's telling you that he's going to give you money for something and he never does it, be like, hey, are you still going to get the flight? Because, you know, my best friend and her two brothers are going on vacation and they invited me. So I'm trying to see if I should be planning to go to LA or should I be planning to go to wherever they said that they were going to take you, right? And how you introduce competition is the brothers. Your best friend has brothers. Your best friend has a god brother or whatever. Because he's like, who are these guys? Who is this guy? Who is this brother? You know? And it kind of makes them speed up the process. But not even that. You could say, oh, you know, my best friend and her uncle, he's a real estate agent. He owns property in West Palm Beach. He lets us use his place when we go on vacation, but he's having a big party because I don't know, he's turning 50. Ooh, that's a good one. I just came up with that off the top of my head. Yeah, he's turning 50 and he's having a party and he wants to fly us out to West Palm Beach and stay at one of his properties. And I'm trying to figure out, like, I told my best friend, like, hold on, slow down, because my man said that he was buying my ticket to Rome. He already said he's buying my ticket to Rome. I can't be at Rome and in Florida at the same time. I can't do it. So are you still buying the ticket? Because I'll let her know, hey, no, I'm not going to Florida. I'm not going to see your rich uncle. I don't want to do it. I have a man. Not like that, y'all. I'm being dramatic. You don't say I have never been. But no, I swear to y'all, I would say some shit like that. I would be like, no, I told her I have a man. I know your uncle's trying to get with me. No, just wait. I wouldn't say all that, but nevertheless. Girl, when? I'm on live right now. Let me see. I gotta show my sister I'm on live. Sorry, you guys. Give me a second. Sorry, I had to send that to my sister. Okay, and yeah, now that I think about 50th birthday, her uncle's 50th birthday, her grandfather, who is a widow, her grandfather, who is a widow, his 80th, no, 75th birthday, his 75th birthday, he wants to fly us out there. He's a widow. Yeah, y'all, I'm telling you, I would put the pieces together. And the pieces would hit. Now that I'm thinking about it, I got a motherfucker I need to use that on. I got a motherfucker that needs to be used on ASAP. No, I'm just playing. Okay, so let me put it on silent. Sorry, y'all. My sister is texting me. She don't have a life. Okay. Let me see if I should example. Sorry, I'm trying to see what I'm gonna do next. So yeah, let's just do this next. So is it the end of the road when you make a mistake and you classify a pot in the wrong category? Okay, Tiffany, she said, I feel like I stand still with getting no prospects because I don't downplay my life. I'm an entrepreneur and I feel like they want a broke damsel in some mess. Okay, so actually, before I start that, let's talk about this. So I'm actually mentoring a girl who has her own business. She's actually, well known in the industry. And she told me the same thing. She's like, hey, like, I can't do that. I can't be that type of person that I have to downplay myself to make somebody else feel good. So that comes a lot with stroking men's egos, and women who are dating multimillionaires and billionaires and men who spend money have to do it all the time. And even though I'm in a good situation with the relationship that I'm in, you guys, I still have to do it. Like, I have to make him feel, I swear, everything. Okay, I have another example with him. I have like this little speaker, and if you know me in real life and you're watching this, it's a ghetto little speaker. It's not an iPod mini, iPod home, whatever the fancy shit that people be talking to, the music speaker. My speaker is this little cheap speaker. And I love it. And I really love it. And I did not want another speaker. So he sees, like, hey, your speaker isn't loud. It's this, it's not that. So he buys me a new speaker without me even asking for it. And I was kind of upset because I'm like, I don't want this raggedy ass speaker. Even though it was a better speaker than the one I have. But at the same time, it's like, who gives a fuck? If they feel like they're better than you and they feel like they have this and they have that, girl, play the role. Because in the words of Pimp C, to break the trick, you got to play the role. You have to. They need to feel needed. They need to feel wanted. You have to humble yourself a little bit. And I'm not saying my situation, Tiffany, just so you hear me out, with the EE that I was dealing with, it's not the same. He was a very aggressive, egotistical Evan. Not a lot of you would have put up with him. A lot of you would have been like, it's bad for your mental health. It's bad for your self-esteem. Take your feelings out of it. Please take your feelings out of it. But I'm telling you, if I don't make it in anything else, I think I could be an actress. Because the way that I could switch it up and make a motherfucker think I give a fuck about what they're saying, it's incredible. It's a gift, honestly, from God, because I really don't give a fuck. It really does not hurt my feelings. As long as you're spending money on me, there are women that get beat down every fucking day by their boyfriends that tell them, oh, you're a bald-headed hoe. Oh, you have bad skin. Oh, you're never going to be anything. And these men don't give them shit. They don't give them nothing, And although I don't feel like he purposely was trying to. No, I do feel like he was trying to bring me down. I don't know why he was trying to do that. I do feel like he was trying to bring me down. At least he was spending money while he was doing it. Again, I was not solely invested in him because I knew what it was. I knew what type of person he was, and I knew how to deal with him accordingly. And again, I was not with this man every fucking day. I was not with him every day while he was saying these things and doing these things for me or whatever. When I came around, I knew I had to deal with the bullshit. I had to get myself mentally prepared. I said, okay, he gonna act a fool. He gonna tell me that my hair ain't right. He gonna tell me that this ain't right and that ain't right. But guess what, y'all? I'm gonna leave with the money to get it done. He gonna give me the money to get it done. Okay. I hate critics with no cash. Somebody get that one. Get that one. Get that one. Somebody write that down. Critics with no cash. I don't like it. I don't like it. The critics with the cash, come my way. Tell me what I need to fix. I even had a pot say I need to get my tattoos removed. I feel the same way. Let's pay to get them removed. As long as you paying fully, that's great. But the good part about Egotistical Evans, the good part about Horny Heralds is that you don't have to deal with them. You don't have to deal with them. You don't. If you don't want to deal with those type of men, you don't have to. But I do feel like they do spend the most money. You know, of course, gullible Gabes. But in my experience, gullible Gabes, I love them. Love them. But yeah, he spent the most money. I love it. I love that for you, Just Cat. So, yeah, so actually, I hope that helped you. I don't want you to be mentally drained. I don't want them to suck the life out of you. You better take your feelings out of it. Humble yourself because I humbled myself and got some shoes, a bag, and some thousands. Some thousands, girl. He wasn't playing around some thousands. You can humble yourself, and the next time you're in my life, you can be like, Chanel, you know what? You're right. I humbled myself, and next thing I know, he done bought me and all my sisters a flight to Dubai. He done paid for our hotel and everything. We eating in the sky. I'm like, I told you. Tiffany, I told you. Let me see. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, that's it. Okay. Now, example. So, is it the end of the road when you make the mistake and you classify a pot wrong? And someone else had mentioned this where a horny Harold pretends to be a sympathetic Steve, right? Or an egotistical Evan, you think that he's a sympathetic Steve and you try to, classify him in that, and he's one, but he's not a mixture. He's literally an EE, and you mistake him for a sympathetic Steve, right? And it's over. You ladies think that it's over? Like, okay, Chanel, I fucked up. It's over. No, it actually means you need to go through a list. If he's not an egotistical Evan, okay, boom, go to sympathetic Steve. If he's not a sympathetic Steve, okay, boom, go to gullible gay, and then keep going until you reach the four, and he's not neither one of those. Then now you need to create your little subcategories, and you need to classify them, and you need to tell me their characteristics. What makes this person who he is? What does he do at dinner? What is something that you would describe him, like adjectives that you would actually describe his personality? That way, if they don't fit in those four categories, which I would be utterly surprised, but I've seen it before, you can create your own subcategories and still be able to finesse. But it's not over because they're not in these particular categories. And I think that ladies think that, like, okay, well, they're none of these. What do I do? You create your own. Because if they're none of these and you keep saying that, then clearly none of these that you're running into is actually a type of man that you're running into. And once you learn what he is, again, I'm not a psychiatrist or any of that. So I don't really know, how to diagnose people, but I just go by what they say and what they do. And that kind of brings me into actions, because a lot of times ladies think that it's certain words that they say that puts them into the category. Yeah, once I swipe on your profile and I'm like, okay, he said this on his profile, or he said that all drinks are on him, or he said this or he said that, and I'm like, okay, this is most likely a gullible gay. However, after talking to him and telling him that, I'm part I'm part Haitian and I'm part whatever. And he's like, hey, he starts speaking Creole to me and I don't know how to speak it. And he's like, oh, okay, well, it's cool. You don't know how to speak it. Like, do your parents know how to speak it? None of us know how to speak it. He's like, okay, you're Haitian and nobody knows how to speak Creole. Like, and they catch me in the fucking lie. They know he's not a gullible gay. He's not falling for shit. He's not falling for shit I'm kicking. He's not falling for me saying that, he's not falling for me saying that oh, hopeless romantic Harry. I love that. He is not falling for me saying that I missed my flight, right? Because he's like, I know you said you missed your flight, but I looked on your Snapchat and it looks like you were out, partying or whatever. I know you said that you were sick, but I looked at your Snapchat and I know you were out there. I know you were outside partying or whatever. So he's not a gullible gay because gullible gays are not going to fucking investigate everything that you said. Gullible gays is not going to look for shit. So that right there should tell you he's not a gullible gay. But anyway, so like I said, when you hit a brick wall and you meet this guy and you assume like he's a sympathetic Steve, right? So you message him or you text him and you be like, hey, my bank card got declined. It got overdraft. I think there's some fraud on there. I called my bank to get my money back. And my bank said that it would take, 3 to 5 days to do their investigation. So right now, my account is closed. I don't have my card. I really have nothing. Only thing I have is my Cash App card that's connected to my Cash App. So then he responds and he says, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your day gets better. Has anybody ever experienced that where you kind of vent to a pot and then he responds back and he's like, oh, I hope your day gets better? Like, let me know. Because I feel like a lot of you have. And after that, you're messaging me or messaging other women in Patreon or on the group chat and you're like, girl, this dude just said that he hopes that, my day gets better. And I'm done. We've been talking for 2 weeks and he's not trying to help me, blah, blah, blah. And what happens with that situation is you categorize him wrong, right? So now you hate him because you made the mistake and you put him in a category that he doesn't belong in. So now you feel like you were cheated out of your time. Chanel, I spent 3 weeks vetting this man, and I can tell you for a fact he was a sympathetic Steve. He talked to me about his cats dying. He talks about his family. He's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. And now when I ask him for help, he doesn't want to give me any. Like, that's kind of the situation that I see a lot. Let me know. He said, yes, I hate that when they do that. I find gullible gays so funny. Me too. I love them. They're good, man. I love that. I would say I know what can make my day better. Okay. So if I get a message like that, like I send the guy the message with the long, what's the name or whatever, it's explaining my card got declined, the overdraft, everything that I just told you guys. And he messages me back like, oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you have a better day, right? I hope your day is better. If I feel like, okay, this might not be a SS because the SS would not do this, right? And I feel like, okay, let me see if he's an egotistical Evan. So I go back, I look at the messages, right? There's a message, there has to be a message somewhere that says he's a man of his word, or he's always there to help people, or he's this or he's that, right? So I go back and I reiterate and I play with his ego and I'm like, hey, I was hoping that because you said you were a man of your word, that you would do more than just hope that I have a better day. I was hoping that you would change my day and change what's going on. And with that, it's like playing with their ego, because a lot of times when I talk to men, I always get them to say keywords, or I always take a note of keywords that they say. And I always remind them, yes, I bring it up. I'm one of the people that keep receipts and I throw it right in your face. So I want to play with his ego a little bit to see if he's an egotistical Evan. Okay, he didn't fall for that or whatever. Desperate for love, damn you. Y'all about to get on my fucking nerves. I'm screaming. Wait, we have to talk about that one. I might have to add that one in there. Desperate for love, Daniel. Okay, So anyway, back to what I was saying. When I come at his ego, like, you said this, or I could even go further, and I wouldn't recommend everybody do this, but be like, I remember when you said that $1,000 wasn't a lot of money, and then now you're saying you hope that I have a good day. Are you saying that $1,200 is too much? And then when they ask, like, what do you mean is $1,200 too much? I'd be like, well, because I don't have any money and I'm out of $1,200. I thought that you would offer some type of financial help, but I get it. I get it. If $1,200 is too much, I completely understand. And then the most of the time, they're going to want to go back and forth with you. Let them go back and forth with themselves. And then I promise you, 5-10 minutes later, it's going to come a phone call, right? And the phone call, they're going to want to go over exactly what you said in the message. What do you mean? Why are you saying $1,200 is not a lot to me? I mean, why are you saying if $1,200 is a lot to me? What's making you say these things? And that right there will let you know that that's an egotistical Evan and not the sympathetic Steve that you thought it was. Because as soon as you attacked his ego, attacked his wealth, attacked his finances, he messaging you back to back. He's calling you because once ego is bruised, they need reassurance. They need something. So you might not be able to get that $1,200, but he gonna send something because he needs to go ahead and boost himself back up because you kind of bruised his ego saying that $1,200 was a lot to him. And that's kind of how you figure out which is which. And I have another example too for yeah, and so another example that I'm getting from another girlie is her car had broke down and she posted it on Snapchat and she's like, oh, my car broke down. She was upset about it. It was upsetting to her. And she posted it on Snapchat. And everybody is messaging her. Wait, her car didn't break down. She had a flat tire, right? And y'all, a tire can run for $700. I'm just making sure. But a tire can run for a lot, brand new tire. So her tire popped. She posts it on Snapchat, and she gets all these messages. And the guys are like, "Oh no, I'm sorry that happened. Oh my God, like whatever." So this is a guy who she knows has a lot of money, messages her, and he's like, I can send AAA, right? And of course she has insurance and she has roadside assistance, so she don't want no fucking AAA. But is that what y'all say? Is that what you say? I don't want AAA, or you just say, no, I don't need AAA. Like, no, you don't respond like that. Because if it's an egotistical Evan, like the sympathetic Steve would have immediately offered something better than AAA, right? But say he is a sympathetic Steve, right? They still have an ego, and you heard it by saying, no, I don't need that. So me, again, I'm going to dumb it down because this might be an egotistical Evan, and I'm going to be like, AAA, do they sell tires? Because that's what I need, because you're not about to send me AAA. We're about to figure out how you can give me this tire. So I'd be like, AAA, and I'd be question mark. Do they sell tires? Because that's what I need. I actually need a tire. Is AAA, is that code for, hold on a sec, y'all. Sorry, is AAA code for Pet Boys? Or be like, oh, you know what? I don't need AAA. I actually need Pet Boys because I need a whole new tire. Oh, God. My sister, y'all, she out here acting a fool. Mm-hmm. Wow, this live is going to be long because I know y'all think I'm almost done. I'm not. I'm not almost done. I haven't been on live in forever, so let me go ahead and take this waist trainer off because we got more. We got more. There's more. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm tired, but we gotta get this out. So then when girls ask me, how do I ask for money or how I decide, I can just send them this live, y'all. We're gonna tell them what it started at 9:08 or wherever the fuck it started at. And I can just send them and I can just be like, girl, deal with these men accordingly. Accordingly, please. Okay, so Horny Heralds. We just spent a whole hour on Egotistical Evans. Just FYI, you guys, we just spent a whole hour on Egotistical Evans. Just FYI. So people are coming and going. Welcome. But yeah, we spent a long fucking time on that. I was not expecting that, but I feel like it was needed because who else feels like I don't really break down how to finesse Egotistical Evans the right way, or not the right way, but I feel like I haven't done a more in-depth really post or video on them, and I feel like they deserve it. They're everywhere. They're around the corner. They're at the mall. They're your let me not look. No, but they're literally everywhere. They're on these fucking apps. They're outside. They're definitely on Tinder. They're definitely at the bar. You know, they're everywhere. Somebody was telling me Aquafina is not good water. Oh my God, welcome everybody who's this their first live. Yeah, I wasn't even gonna do a live until next month, but I was like, fuck it, let me do a live. Yes, I definitely need to do more. I'm screaming. I love this. This is my favorite water. This is my favorite water. And I hate when y'all talk about it because I swear it's not, this is good water. It kind of tastes like Hennessy. That's what it kind of tastes like Hennessy. It got a little bit of hint of Hennessy. A little bit of hint of Hennessy. Wait, but you know what? I'm done. I'm screaming. No, that was man, that shit was so fucking funny. I hate y'all. No, for real. I can't even continue. Okay. So if I am categorizing the next man and I say Horny Harold, so if I can't even get past that. I'm fucking done. So if I determine if a guy is a Horny Harold, can y'all stop? We need to focus. But I'm screaming. Like, no, because what's that expensive water called, you guys? Y'all know the Boss. He would have been like, Chanel, why aren't you drinking Boss? He really would have. No, for real. Yeah, the Boss one. Okay, hold on. No, I love Fiji water too. I like Kroger brand. Yeah, honestly, y'all, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I drink whatever water. I don't really have a particular water, but this is one of my favorite waters. You know what? It's always in the store. And maybe because no one else is buying it. That makes sense. Is this my favorite water or is it the only one in the store? So I buy it because no one else buys it. Oh, okay. Mm, mm. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's all coming full circle now. So can you guys put, because we're really about to start on Horny Herald. So 105 Horny Herald, or wherever we're at. I don't know what the number is. Where we about to start Horny Herald. Let's go. Let's get started. Okay, so with Horny Herald, there's a few key words and like trigger words you can use to kind of figure out if a guy is a horny Herald. So say we're at a date, right? We don't have a date, and I still can't figure out, what type of man I'm dealing with, right? We're at the date is almost over, and then I get an alert on my phone, right? And we're done. We already hugged everything. I'm leaving the table. All of a sudden, I get an alert on my phone, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the sexiest dress I have ever seen. Oh, excuse my language, but I just got a notification. Or my best friend, probably be my best friend because she'll probably help me set up the scheme. My best friend just sent me the sexiest dress. I have to get this dress. So as soon as they hear the word sexy or sexiest, which means that it's better than all the other sexy dresses, he's gonna ask, wait, let me see it. Can I see the dress that you're referring to? Then you show him a picture of the dress. No, really, excuse my language. Then you show him a picture of the dress, and he's like, that is a really sexy dress. I would love to see that on you. I would love to see a tight fitted dress on that body. And you know how they describe your body, and they get really horny. It's disgusting, but they do what they do. So when he says those things, like, so this is not no prompt that we sending back and forth. This is right in person, a real life finesse that's happening right before our eyes. So when he says that, then you go ahead and you could get it for me. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there. You could get this dress for me and keep looking at the phone and like, maybe I can look at other colors. And they're like, no, I like that color. That's the color I want to get you. And like, how much is it? And the rest is history. Now, I always do this. Sorry, I thought I saw a little bug. I always do this because I will set like alarms or alerts if I'm on a date. That way, I'm not actually on my phone on the date, and they just know that my phone is going off. That's a good thing to do with Egotistical Evans, you guys, so they can know, like, you're in high demand. They don't know who's calling you. Men, it quickly come to their mind that it could be another guy calling you. And let your phone go off a few times, one, 2, 3 times or whatever. And that's just something for Egotistical Evans. So trigger words could be sexy, risque, luscious, hot, steamy, fantasy, desire, voluptuous, those type of key words. So let's just kind of switch it up a little bit or whatever. So when you're on a date with them and you're talking about, vacations, and you're talking about traveling, instead of saying like, one of the places I would really like to go to is Bora Bora. Again, use those key words with Horny Heralds to kind of grab them in, pull them in. I think I mean pull them in. Pull them in. So instead of saying like, oh my God, one of the places I want to go to would be Bora Bora, one of my fantasies. One of my biggest fantasies would be to go to Bora Bora and take pictures in a bikini and because those are key words. Bikini, fantasy. You want to make not everything sexual because they'll do it for you, but you do want to make it a tad bit steamy. You get what I'm saying? Like, you want to make it a tad bit steamy. And that's another word. I don't know if I put that on the list. Did I put that on the list of keywords? Steamy. I did go ahead and put that on the list. Let's see. So when communicating with horny heralds, keywords are important, but also changing their names and giving them pet names. And I say this all the time with pet names, but it wouldn't just be a pet name like boo or babe or something. It would have to be something sexual. It would have to be something that they desire. And you know, we all know our go-to is like daddy or something like that. Trying to think. Baby, babe, those kind of words, those are cool. But you know, pick it up a little bit. Pick it up a little bit and use these keywords, because when you use these keywords, you can use that as a way to get some money. So when you're conversing and when you're having your conversations, once you're done having the conversation, make sure you drop the keywords to keep them enticed. And then that's the way that, yes, what's your fantasy? Great. I love that. Paint the picture. Yes. Thanks. Hold on. And one more thing about horny heralds is they're more like dynamic than I think any of us give them credit for. We think that immediately, because he's a horny herald, that, okay, let's just do the bikini finesse. Let's just do the swimsuit finesse. And that's the way that we're going to get him, because that's all to him. But let's not downplay horny heralds. Let's not make them idiots anymore, because they're not. Like I just said at the beginning of the live, they have money. They're not broke. They're not poor. The majority of them, the difference between a horny herald and then somebody that's just being vulgar and disgusting, we gotta know the difference. We gotta know the difference between a motherfucker that's just like, oh, I'm gonna suck your left toe in my Honda, and then after that, I want to slap you with my balls. Like, that's just too much. And we know they're a dusty, vulgar man looking for sex than an actual horny herald. Because the reason why I categorize these men into these categories, when I put them in these categories, is because I said, if you figure out how to get to a sympathetic Steve feelings, he'll spend money. The gullible Gabe, if you figure out the best story, the best way to tell the story, he'll spend money. A horny herald, if you can feel the best way to be a sensual woman, because it's not all about sex with horny heralds, it's more about sensuality. If you figure out the best way to deal with them, you'll get the money. Egotistical Evan, like I said, when you figure out the best way to do it, you'll get the money. So why would I purposely put us in a position to be disrespected by someone who we know has no possibility of spending any money? Again, the horny herald is just way more complex than we give him, because I think we all think that the egotistical Evan is super complex, which he is. But I feel like we don't give horny herald enough credit. We think that we can just do the quick finesse or whatever, because most of the time that is them. That is the quick finesse. But there is a long run. Like, most of the whales are sexual people. Most of the top men who want to have sex, they are horny heralds. They tend to be. They have some of their characteristics. So in that way, just making sure when you're talking to them and you're saying certain things, that you are coming off more sensual or sexual than you would normally do. And it's okay to be a little risque with them, And I don't know Anya, the other Anya, because I know there's two Anyas. I don't know if the other Anya is on this live, but I remember telling her when she was finessing this guy, when she was finessing this guy, and she was telling him, like, he was saying all these things to her. She's like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to get money from him. There's no way I'm going to get money from him. That's not true. Because even though they're saying things and a little bit, like, they'll cross the line just a tad bit, when they are saying these things, you can use that to your advantage. Because once you get a guy horny, hot, and bothered, then he's ready to do anything. But it's kind of like having phone sex, but like forever. It's kind of like having... Oh my God, Kevin. He's an interesting cute dude. But yeah, it's kind of having it's kind of like having phone sex for like forever. It never ends. I promise you, it never ends, and that is their main goal. But it's the idea of sex. It's the idea of sex that more so arouses them because we are gonna do like foreplay forever. Foreplay forever. This is everything before sex, and in order to do that, we just can't be like trying to get a $200 dress and do the $200 dress finesse, right? We can't do that every time. We only do that to try to initiate the finesse and figure out what type of man he is at the beginning, right? So once we do all that, then it's actually time for like if you want him to be longevity, it's time for you to try to figure out, okay, how can I play this for the long run? Because this guy wants this, right? Or he thinks that's what he wants, right? And I am wanting this. How do I meet him halfway? And again, like I said, foreplay all the time. And I've given examples on how to deal with horny heralds, but it's okay if I like kind of repeat them because I think that women take like it's little steps that we can take to really rid ourselves of the duty of having to do anything sexual with them. And one of the best ways to do that, like I said, is porn. They're horny. They like porn. They like talking about porn. They like hearing about porn. And even if you're celibate or whatever, you can tell them. You can send them videos. And really, what I mean by porn is like soft porn. And if you're on Twitter, which I'm not, but I know what goes on Twitter. I know. Surprise. I know what's going on Twitter. I know the dark Twitter. And there's pictures. And there's naked girls. And Nico, I don't know if she's on this live. She's probably not because Nico would have definitely commented already. Nico said before that horny heralds or, men in general, they like when you are not insecure. And that's another thing about horny heralds. They're not like egotistical Evans. They don't want you to be secure about your body. They don't want you to be secure about your looks. They're not going to downplay it. They're going to mostly boost up your confidence, right? They want you to feel good about yourself because the better you feel, the more likely they are to have sex. So when you bring up other women and you bring up this sexy picture you came across on Twitter, visuals, yeah, Twitter, it gets dark. I've seen it. When you start sending pictures of these other women and you start boosting them up, then maybe, just maybe, you can go ahead and put in, oh yeah, I wish my boobs were as big as hers, and then he'll compliment you because horny heralds always do. You look great. You look way better than her. Like, things like that. But even in that way, you could be like, I get what you're saying, but it wouldn't hurt for me to go a size up. I was going to a doctor. I booked a consultation for next week. Do you want to come? That kind of sets up the finesse for them to pay for your surgery. And that's only if you want to get surgery, whatever. But it's bigger than, like I said, it's bigger than the bikini finesse. It's bigger than the dress finesse. Once you get a guy hot, bothered, and horny, you can get whatever money out of him. And another thing too, when I was talking to the women that I was mentoring, they were saying like, a gullible Gabe, he's not going to give me $30,000. I mean, not a gullible Gabe. An egotistical Evan or horny herald, they're not going to give me $30,000. They're going to want something in return. But here's the thing. There's always a chance where, because you broke down this barrier and you became this woman that that the horny herald can relate to and that he feels for and that he feels like this connection with, right? Because not only are you the perfect woman, you talk about the stuff that he wants to talk about. You're not scared to compliment other women. You send him sexy pictures of either yourself or other women. You let him know how you feel sexually. You're not afraid to go ahead and talk that talk with him because we know some of us don't want to talk that talk with him. That may turn a horny herald into a sympathetic Steve that could turn into a gullible Gabe. Like, once you play the role, this is what happens. You break the trick. All right? Pimp C words, not mine. Pimp C words, not mine. And by breaking the trick, because, everybody knows it's 304 language. Once you break the trick, you get whatever the fuck you want. And breaking the trick with women who like say if they prostitute or they escort or whatever, breaking the trick doesn't mean sex. Actually, breaking the trick actually means getting his money and not having to do nothing for it. That means that he's already willing to spend money. Like he believes that what I say. He believes what I do, and now the spending is endless. So yeah, hoe tactics. Period. No, and one more thing too about that is even though, like I said, like they're like dynamic or whatever, there's levels to all of them. So there's a horny heroes that will only spend the hundreds. There's a horny heroes that will spend the thousands. There's a horny heroes that will do more. So same thing with egotistical Evans and all of them. Like there's different. There's levels. There's levels. I hate when I did that. I should never did that. But yeah, there's major levels to this, and even though like I'm telling you these things, this will not happen overnight. This happens by experience. This happens by you actually going into the field and dating and meeting different guys. Then you kind of subconsciously take mental notes because even though I want to compartmentalize all this and it makes it easier, all of this is like in my head and I actually able to get it out. I should write a book. On this. But all of this is in my head and I'm able to get it out through experience, okay? And through seeing other women's experience. And you ladies don't get to see everything and every message that I get, but I see it all. I'm looking at the message and I'm like, okay, that's a horny hero. That's an egotistical Evan. That's this, that's that. And I'm able to point it out, not because, oh my God, I just know everything. It's because I made this formula up because that's the type of men that I typically deal with. But I would really appreciate it if some ladies came up with some other ones because I know that there's different more types of men out here in this world and more characteristics. That's just the 4 that I ran into, and I think that it's very common. I think those 4 are like major, and yeah. But do what works for you. Like I said, I always say, do what works for you. I think the best part about this lifestyle is that no, we all don't need to fit into a box, and we all don't need to play by a certain rule. Everybody is different, and if you feel like a certain type of guy is draining you, move on. But you can only move on so much. If you start running into these same guys, even the woman that had commented earlier, maybe it's time to learn how to deal with them. Maybe it's time to run. This might be your guy. This might be the one who blows the bag on you. So maybe this is the time to just take your time out, learn how to deal with the type of man that you are attracting. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Unless anybody had questions, I think I'm done. I think that I might be out. And honestly, I am so happy to be live. But I'm even more happy that I was able to talk about egotistical Evan thoroughly. And might do like a separate little live or Horny Heralds. But yeah. Thank you. Did anybody have any questions? Because I'm open to ask them. I just kind of went through all my notes and kind of, let me see if I missed anything. Like competition, okay. Oh, I did miss something. Oh my God, wait a minute. I missed something. Y'all, don't leave. Everybody come back. Come back. So I forgot to say that I don't know how the fuck I missed this because I really want to talk about this. It's egotistical Evans. I did miss something. So egotistical Evans, they lack the ability to want to do something that you want to do because they're all about self-interest. So let me see. Hold on a sec. Oh yeah, they're all about self-interest. So what happens if anybody has run into those type of men where you want to do a particular thing, like a good example. A good example is a guy will talk all this about what he's done for somebody else, what he did here, what he did there, right? You bring something up like, oh, Christmas is coming up and I want this. Oh, I don't celebrate Christmas. Or Christmas is on Valentine's Day. I've never celebrated Valentine's Day, right? Because it's about self-interest. If someone really cared about you, they would care about the things you care about, right? And like we say, like you can say all day, well, I really like Valentine's. I love Valentine's. This is my favorite holiday. They don't give a fuck. We said this before. You can't shame the shameless because he is egotistical and he cares about himself. He said he don't celebrate Christmas. Okay? He said it already. But then it's funny because he was saying all these things that he did for somebody else or his ex or something. So you're thinking in your head like, okay, so when did you do this for your ex? If you don't celebrate Christmas or Valentine's Day, is this just random gifts you were giving her? Again, I'm doing an example. So what happens with these is, no, holidays is for that season, period. So what happens with this type of man, I'm so mad that I missed this, you guys. I should have looked over my notes before I even begin the Horny Herald because there's so much that I have to dissect from this. So if they don't care about your birthday, right? I know they care about their birthday. So when I am finessing an egotistical Evan and I kind of know they're like, okay, wait a minute, this guy might be an EE. My birthday is his birthday. He just needs to give me the date. He needs to give me the date. Oh my God, what a coincidence. We have the same birthday. And even if you can't say the same exact birthday, you better be the same sign as his. Because this is just an example of getting him to care about the things that you care about. Because now he's feeling this connection like, oh wow, now we have so much in common because he's all about himself. So when you are saying something like, oh, your birthday is his birthday or you're the same sign as his, he feels like somehow in his twisted mind that you're somewhat on the level with him, right? And although he does not care, and this don't even have to be egotistical, Evan, we don't categorize this guy. He does not care about a birthday. Okay, when's your birthday? Oh my God, we have the same birthday. What a coincidence. I can't wait to celebrate it together. Or, oh, you're a Gemini. Guess what? I'm a Gemini too. Gemini twinsies. What a coincidence. And that's just one example of how to make an egotistical Evan care about your situation. Because again, they lack interest in anything that doesn't involve them. You could be, and it doesn't matter. Like you could be saying like, oh, I want to go here. I want to go to this concert. And they're like, hey, I don't like that type of music. You better figure out what type of music they like what they like, and get the bag that way. It's so much easier to just comply with them and get along with them and agree with them than to sit here and go back and forth with them. For what reason? For what reason? It's your world. I'm just living in it. And I know that some people don't want to do that, or some women don't want to do that. But I'm telling you, it's so much easier when you realize that you're dealing with an EE to just go with the fucking flow because they're going to spend it. If this is an EE that spins, if you go with the flow, it's going to work. Hold on one second because it's not one. So another good example of that would be, let me see, because I have my notes. It's upsetting. I forgot it. It's very upsetting. Hold on. I said, and I did put exclamation marks, and I said, I'm going to force you to care, and that's just period. So another thing too, if there's somewhere that you don't want to go, and I think I use this for the example or they don't want to go, I use this for the example for vacation. And they're like, I don't want to do that, or that's not my style. I don't celebrate holidays. Okay, what do you celebrate? Because men do it all the time. They want to know these particular things about you so they can make it feel like you're so connected, and you can connect to an egotistical Evan. You just have to know what they like. So they'll tell you their dislikes in a minute. They'll tell you their dislikes in a minute because they are a narcissist or they have a little bit of narcissism. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose somebody with narcissism, but they are a narcissist, right? So they'll tell you like, oh yeah, this is what I don't like. And they won't tell you what they do like because they know the process of love bombing and they're not going to let you do it to them. So you need to think of a way to figure out what they do like. That way they feel this extreme connection. Because with women, we're so quick to be like, I don't like this. Oh, but I like this. I like this. My favorite flowers is this is this and that. And they will do the love bombing process, right? But they're not going to tell you nothing about them. You could be with an egotistical Evan for a month. And I know I told you ladies to vet, but y'all have situations where you're like, Chanel, I'm not able to vet him. He won't tell me what he does. He only tells me his nickname. He spends money here and there, but I've really been around him for a month and I know nothing about them. They're doing that on purpose. They're doing that on purpose because they don't want you to try to figure out a way to get them because they already figured out a way to kind of get you. So when they say they don't like, just immediately be like, okay, but what do you do like? What do you like? Don't ask them random questions out of turn. I think I have that in my notes. Yes. Don't ask them random questions out of turn. Don't try to quiz them. Okay. Don't make it obvious. This is finessing. What you need to do is ask them right when they say, immediately. Be like, oh, okay, so you don't celebrate holidays, so what do you celebrate? And then they go on what they celebrate. Oh, you don't like this? Okay, so what do you like? We can talk about that. So it doesn't seem like you're investigating them. But that's just something that I missed. I'm sorry, you guys. I should have said that. It would have flowed so much easier when I was talking about egotistical Evans.